Hello there, Kyle Katarn here, and welcome to the final Skeleton Crew hype chamber of season one. Anyway, we don't know what's going to happen after this, but for the foreseeable future, this is our last hype chamber for this show, and I'm going to be sad when it's over. But I'm not going to be sad right now. I'm going to wait until after I've seen the show for that. For now, I'm just going to stay excited because there's a lot of things to look forward to right now. But welcome, hello there, Charlie. What's up, Digi? How you doing? Nathan, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, 8 episodes. 8 episodes in. It's been a crazy ride. I hope it sticks the landing, too. I have a lot of confidence. I think that, there haven't been any duds with the episodes of this show. I think every single one has really hit for me, and a lot of them have been very unique as well. Their own themes and cinematography styles, like even in the production elements of them have been unique from episode to episode, but I've enjoyed every single one, and I'm optimistic that the finale will just be satisfying as well. Don't look at the cast of Skeleton Crew on Google. There's a major spoiler there. Interesting. Okay, well, that's good to know. We won't be looking at that then. I imagine it's going to be like the reveal of whoever the supervisor is or whoever the captain was. My money is up on it being Fern's like grandfather or descendant, ancestor, I guess. Descendant goes the other direction. You know what I mean. I think Fern and her mother are connected to the pirate captain, and there's definitely a link between the pirate captain and the supervisor, but I'm not sure. There's also a Neil connection going on with Neil's species and the treasure hoard, and that can't be a coincidence. I'm gonna have to really sift through my theories so I can come up with a comprehensible prediction before the episode comes out, because yeah, there's so much going on. Thank you very much. A good friend got that for me. Thank you. Shout out to the Black Series, which made it possible for me to collect helmets, because finally there were helmets in the market that weren't like hundreds of dollars a piece. Got that Stormtrooper bucket back when it first came out in the 2010s, and I just never looked back. Yeah, a whole planet of people doing data processing and accounting and everything based around money. On the one hand, I'm surprised the kids didn't figure out that the planet was a mint a lot sooner. I mean, he, like Wendell said, he's like, we weren't supposed to tell you any of this until you graduated. But I feel like a smart kid could contextualize what's going on just from the clues around them. They don't know anything about the larger galaxy, though. So the idea that an entire planet needs to be dedicated to making money for a galactic government that big, that wouldn't necessarily be the first thing you think of, especially if you're from an isolated little place like that. Thinking about it like a kid from Earth, though, a person who watches these shows, it's like, oh, obviously this is what's going on. Very wizard indeed. One final voyage for now, and then it's Andor season 2 time. And oh man, talk about having a different energy. It's gonna be, the vibes are gonna change up in here in the lead up to Andor season 2, and I'm looking forward to that as well. But it has been a really nice, taking a little break, from kind of the seriousness of some of the recent Star Wars projects, and I like how kind of lighthearted this show has been, even though there is danger. The danger is very real, and it can be scary and perilous, and the stakes are high. And now the kids and their parents are at the hands of a madman with a lightsaber. It's pretty dire, but even so, there's this lightheartedness to the show, and I think a lot of that comes from nostalgia too, because I grew up in the time period when all these movies came out. So everything that's being referenced here, all the old Amblin classics, that's what I grew up on. So it's hitting those notes for me just sort of automatically. And I think it is for people younger than me as well, though, I think it really is hitting the right vibe for that. My favorite crew member, honestly, I think I have to go with Neil, just because he's so entertaining, and you can't help but root for him. And he's such an underdog. He's the underdog of underdogs. And he's grown so much too. He's almost unrecognizable already in terms of demeanor and confidence and self-esteem from where he was in that first episode to where he is now. I knew he'd already come to distance when he threw the rock at SM-33 in defense of his friends. That was great bravery. Neil Nation, Neil Nation for sure. And that's not to say that Fern, KB, and Wim aren't cool too. I think I identify the most with Wim. Wim feels the most like a young me, but I always had a Neil as a best friend, and so I feel like I'm more drawn to like be connected to Neil in that way. Like I always have, whole life, always had a best friend who reminds me of Neil, and I've always been kind of the person that like acts like Wim, and so I that stereotype, like that archetype, I guess, really hit for me. I heard that too, and I don't know if that's true or not. I really don't. It's a rumor. That's what I haven't seen anything official talking about it, but I heard the same thing. Yeah, and it'd be sweet if we get a season two. I mean, season two is confirmed, but like anything about what's happening in season two, we don't really know anything about it. Interesting, interesting. If it's Neil, I could see it. I would hate for them to do that to Wim, though. He wanted to be a Jedi so bad, and then he had a really eye-opening, like, kind of rude awakening about what lightsabers are all about. And then his friend becomes force sensitive. Like that would just be rubbing it in, wouldn't it? The voice of the supervisor is definitely Stephen Fry. You could hear it. You could hear it in the last episode, but it has since been confirmed. The question for me is he actually there? Is it a recording of his voice? Is he a hologram? Hopefully, he's a skeleton, right? Just to bring the whole skeleton crew thing full circle. I would love it if they turned the chair around and there's just a skeleton in it. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's my wish. And then it's just like a pre-recorded voice, like automated protocols that have just been running for generations. He's long dead. What about S Crew's viewership numbers being bad? What about them being bad? It's the first time I've heard that they're bad, and I didn't know. I don't really keep track of that sort of stuff. Now, this rumor I had heard, Rory McCann replacing Ray Stevenson as Balin Skull. We're going to talk about this tonight on the Dork Forces podcast at 8 Pacific time after the episode has aired. But suffice it to say, I am supportive of this. I think it's good casting. The fact that Ray and Rory were good friends in real life kind of like makes it even more simpatico and a different level. And I think visually he's got the look. I think that he could pull it off. It's all going to come down to the writing, I think, for me, almost more so than the acting performance. We'll see. Yarp, I guess I should have just said. That's the short version. Yeah, he is the Hound from Game of Thrones, but he'll always be the Yarp guy from Hot Fuzz to me. And the dude from the porridge commercial back in Scotland. Agreed. Always felt so. I mean, didn't he narrate the movie, the Martin Freeman movie? I think he did. Yes, Atten has felt like a Wizard of Oz situation like the whole time since the first episode. The fact that no one has ever like directly interacted with the supervisor until I guess hearing the voice on the intercom, but even that wasn't a direct interaction. That could have been a recording. Everything's automated. There's robots everywhere. It's very like limited technology too. Like I remember in the episode that starts, I think it was the 5th episode, starts off with the parents having the meeting in the house, and then the droid comes in to tell them that the supervisor decided not to help. Well, in the establishing shot, you see that droid walking the entire distance, like probably miles from the facility to this house. Why not take a speeder, right? It just seems weird. The choices that they've made, and it has to be deliberate. And it being a mint does explain all the secrecy and why everything's being hidden, but it doesn't really explain why no one knows who the supervisor is. It's like everyone's just sort of like taking it for granted that the system works and never really checked in on the supervisor and just sort of assumed he was there doing his job. But he could be dead. He could be a skeleton. I thought so. Yes. Thank you for the confirmation. Whoa! Spoilers up in here. Neil dies in this episode. It's true. He just explodes spontaneously. or at least it seems to be spontaneous combustion until forensically they were able to reconstruct the scene, and they see a microscopic X-wing shooting some proton torpedoes right down his ventilation shaft. I'm so sorry you all had to hear that, but now that I've been spoiled, you've all been spoiled. We don't even need to watch the episode now, because now we know how it ends. So, in a way, I've given you a gift here. Yeah, I've given you that 45 minutes of your life. Now you can do whatever you want with it. So, yeah, if Neil dies, I'm done. I am done with Star Wars. He's not going to die. He's not. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Wizard of Oz, Man Behind the Curtain. That's absolutely what I've gotten from this. And I don't know, the supervisor could be revealed to be someone in our midst the whole time. But I think it's more likely that that kind of reveal would be for the pirate captain. And it could be Jod. Or, again, it could be Fern's grandpa. But I think the supervisor, yeah, I think my money's leaning towards like hologram / recording / the real guy is a skeleton in a chair. He's just dead. That's what I think. Snowball could be the pirate captain. We don't know. Or the supervisor. Again, Snowball could be the key to all of this. We've heard that before. I think if Kim shows up, she'll show up via X-Wings showing up because she called them. I'm not sure if we're going to see her again, and that would be a shame if we don't, because she's such a cool practical puppet. Great voice performance, too. I love all like the involuntary kind of like animal noises that she mixed in to the lines. It's so good. I just want to see that location again. And I mean, like, that's kind of one of the beautiful things about Star Wars is like you'll have like this weird one-off episode where you go to a really cool planet or moon or like her little orrery place. That was so cool. We can always go back there in something that's wildly different and unrelated to Skeleton Crew in a future thing. Like, we can revisit the stuff because it's a living, breathing galaxy and it's so huge. So that's kind of the fun part about like, oh, yeah, no, we're not going to see it again in this show. That's too bad. But like, there's always that sliver of hope that like they're going to revisit this location for another reason in the future. Like that swirling sky, like nebula looking sky as they're walking across that wide shot. Gorgeous. Some of the episodes, like some of the cinematography in these episodes have been fantastic. Yeah, the giant cannon. They're firing it, man. They are firing that thing. Mark my words. Happy to oblige, man. Happy to oblige. You got to send me a picture when you get the tattoo. I'm excited to see it. That's like some stalwart commitment right there to Star Wars. Getting that thing permanently on your body. As a tattooed individual, I can fully respect and appreciate that move. I'm planning to get a Star Wars tattoo. Ironically, my first Star Wars tattoo, because I don't even have any, when I go to Japan in April. I'll be there for Star Wars Celebration, and I want to get a Purrgil traditional koi style on the back of my calf. That's the plan. We'll see how that. I'll give you updates on whether that progresses or not. But I almost got it done at Celebration Anaheim because I found out that they had tattoo, you could get tattooed on the con floor. I thought that was pretty awesome. But then by the time I got there, it was like an impulse decision, and the guy was already booked up. There's a line out the door. So, are you going to be there? Hell yeah! It's going to be great, man. We're going to be hanging out. Yeah, I'm actually really excited this time around. When I went to Celebration Anaheim, I didn't really know anybody, and I met a bunch of people, and I made a bunch of friends, many of whom I'm still connected with today. But this time around, like, I know a whole bunch of people in the community, mostly from going to Anaheim, and we're all going to Japan, and like, so it's we can maximize the hangout time. We can really socialize this because like we can hit each other up ahead of time. So yeah, really looking forward to Japan. Oh, nice. Well, have a safe flight. Travel safe, man. You can think about Skeleton Crew while you're flying over there. It's a long flight. Mine's already booked. It's like 10 hours. Damn. But I used to take family trips to New Zealand, and it was like a 27-hour flight or something ridiculous like that. So I can do it. I can tank it, but I'm going to be bored. It's a long flight, man. Celebration 4. What year was Celebration 4? That must have been mid 2000s, early 2000s, like 2005 or something like that. Because Celebration 1, I believe, was 1998. It was the year before The Phantom Menace. Yeah, 2004 or 5. That sounds about right. Well, damn, that's some street cred. That's an OG. I hope you have some merch with Celebration 4 on it, because that's awesome. That's one of my favorite things about going to the cons is seeing like old school gear from the con in like an earlier year. Very, very cool. Yeah. 2005, that must have been a good one too, because that was the year Revenge of the Sith came out. I bet that was lit to use. Whatever. The kids don't even say that anymore, do they? Very good chance the next domestic celebration is going to be Orlando. That would be my guess. So that's where I think we're going next. That could be fun. We do always get together and say hi at least. So who knows? We'll see how busy we are at the time, but that would be really fun to do. Alex and Molly are great. Love hanging out with them. Seriously, I hope that we do get that. I hope that the people of At-Atten at least get connected to the outside galaxy. I wonder how that could work, though, because, you know, the secrecy, the planet's going to be a target no matter what, as soon as word spreads. And it's going to spread about the mint, about the gold there. The isolation has a necessity to it, but these people do deserve to be connected to the greater galaxy and understand that they're part of a larger society. Like, it's not right to keep that from them, just because they're presumably their ancestors were employees of this bank system and settled here. But like their children's children didn't make that decision, and they should be able to leave if they want. So it's like, are they just sworn to secrecy? Is it like an honor system thing? They're not about to like wipe their memories or anything, but I want to see the adults specifically, but also the kids, like learn about the galaxy properly and not like sideways from a pirate learning like bad stuff about X-Wings and things. Like have someone really break it down. This is what happened to the Republic. Then there was an empire. Now there's a new Republic. These are the good guys. These are the bad guys, etc. Just give them the quick rundown on Star Wars. I want to see that happen, but that sounds like a lot of exposition. So I don't know if they're gonna treat us to that. It is almost time. Guys, I've had a lot of fun hanging out with you all, and I'm going to miss our little chats, but they're not going anywhere. We'll be back in April to hype up Andor Season 2. It's going to be so much fun. And I believe the first hype stream will be coming to you from a hotel room somewhere in Tokyo, so you can stay tuned for that. Together now, Skeleton Crew, Episode 8 finale. It's time. I've got Disney Plus up. I'm refreshing. We're a few minutes away. I've got Mabendu on the other line. He's getting ready. We're going to do our reaction. As soon as the reaction is done, the full uncut version of that reaction will be available on Patreon. And we're going to be going live on the Dork Forces podcast at 8 o'clock tonight, Pacific time, to do a breakdown of the finale and the entire series thus far. I hope that there's some surprises at the end of this thing. Even if there aren't, though, it's been a hell of a ride. And I'm going to soak up like the piratey, campy goodness while it lasts, because I think that once Andor arrives, we're in for something completely different. Disney Plus was down. Now it's back up. Well, it wouldn't be a Star Wars premiere night without a little hiccup. You know, I feel like that comes with the territory too. So I'm glad it's back up though. Yeah. Bye everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. This concludes the Hype Chamber, and I'll see you guys next time.